The quest for healing is another reason people are drawn to the shamanic path or to a particular shaman or even to a certain area of the world where they intuitively sense that there's something there for them that can aid in their healing. So this woman you see here, my friend Jan, when she came to Peru on the trip, she came on crutches. But working with some of the mountain shamans, she was able to leave without them. Now in this other picture below in the back, the guy dressed in black. A year before this picture was taken, this man had been paralyzed from the neck down from a car accident and was at death's door. So he started working with Don Victor and the plant medicine, the San Pedro. By the time we took this picture, he was almost fully recovered. He just had a cane, and Don Victor was giving him his very last dose, which was a 30-day supply of the plant medicine. So he was expected to have a complete recovery. So let's take a look at some of the healing tools used by the shamans in the mountains and the jungles. First, let's start with the mesa healing tradition of the mountain shamans. If you look at the top right, you have something that's called a despacho. The despacho is used in healing and also as a form of prayer, and it can be a personal despacho or it can be a despacho that's being made for an entire group. So when we would do this despacho ceremony, there would be a whole group of us, and we would all contribute to the making of this despacho, putting in these different sacred objects. And you may say a prayer into the coca leaves, which was a very common tradition, to pray into the coca leaves and put them in a despacho, or to send them off into the wind. And if you did a more private one with a smaller group, depending on what items you picked to put in the despacho, the shaman would give you a reading of what those things mean for you. So once the despacho is made, it's folded up and made into a bundle, and then the bundle is taken to the fire, and you have a fire ceremony, releasing the energy that was contained in the despacho through your prayers and so on and so forth. Now in the picture below, you see some shamans there, but right along the edges are these medicine bundles. They're also called mesa. And what's inside each of these medicine bundles, each one belongs to a shaman. And each shaman has in his or her medicine bundle some kind of sacred objects. But each of them has power. They're objects of power. The first night that I had a healing with Don Francisco, one of the mountain shamans, and when he was working with me, I could feel the medicine bundle pulling something right out of my joints. Mostly the mountain shamans work that way, using the medicine bundles. Now the jungle shamans work with plant medicine, and of course they may incorporate other elements too. Like Don Victor, for example, he uses a despacho also. Now, the jungle shamans don't necessarily live in the jungle. They're primarily called jungle shamans because the medicine that they use is from the jungle. Plant medicine is one of the healing traditions that you find among the jungle shamans, and they may incorporate other elements also, like the despacho, as I mentioned before. Energy healing, laying on of hands, working with sound, crystals, anything like that. The plant medicines that we worked with in the jungle were ayahuasca and San Pedro. Now both of these plants are taken in liquid form. Ayahuasca is extracted from a vine that grows in the jungle, and San Pedro or wachuma is extracted from a cactus. And the plants can have different effects on different people, but both of them facilitate entering altered states of consciousness, and they both initiate some process of purification, whether it be physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and usually all of those. Now the difference between the plants, in my experience, ayahuasca is like swimming through the ocean. It's like you move through these ripples and layers of yourself, of your energy, of your memories across lifetimes. But if ayahuasca is like swimming, then San Pedro was more to me like parting the Red Sea. There's really this opening that happens in your consciousness and your energy. Ayahuasca can pull up your deepest emotions and your fears, but the way you experience those emotions can be very surreal. Now, for me, as I was going through these different layers and going uh, into these various past lives, what I think the ayahuasca was allowing me to do was to move consciously through my chakras, because as I'm moving, I'm going through a tunnel, but this tunnel was like a kaleidoscope. We store our spiritual data in our chakras, and just like DNA, it's kind of coiled up and compacted. And it seems to me that ayahuasca uncoils it for you, and then in the uncoiling it, you're remembering it or reliving it. You confront it in some way, and having said that, it's probably something like what you experience upon death. My San Pedro experience was like just stepping into another dimension, and as a matter of fact, I literally saw a portal open and I could see another world on the other side. And what the medicine was also doing was somehow separating and drawing out any heavy or toxic energy from my mind, my body, my emotions, from my spiritual self. So you kind of have this dual awareness almost. You have awareness of this heavier self, this more physical, denser self, and then this lighter, more cosmic self. And as a matter of fact, they call San Pedro the cosmic medicine. And it's also called the cosmic teacher because not only does this plant heal you, but it's like the plant itself is a spirit guide. And by drinking it, you connect with its power and its wisdom. I mentioned that the shamans use other types of healing techniques besides plant medicine. So what we're about to see is a video of our shaman Don Victor doing energy healing on some of the townspeople at the temple site in Rachi.
Si no te haces, no te va a comprar nada. Ya tampoco me haces. Yo me quiero.
Come walk with shamans this summer. It's a magical adventure and a life-changing opportunity to study with master shamans.